Hi, this is Roy Worley. Welcome to the interview show that brings on guests from all walks of life. Yeah, it's here that they tell their stories and delve a little deeper into their lives to see what got them where they are. So grab a drink, have a seat, and relax, because this is the Leo Effect.
When was the last time a short movie shook your emotions to the core? When was the last time a short movie caused you to rethink everything you stood for? When was the last time a short movie made you proud to be an American? When was the last time you felt the emotion to stand up and cheer after a short movie? The new short movie, I've Got Your Six, written and directed by Bill Foster, one of the industry's newest and fastest climbing directors, will answer all of those questions. Rarely has there been so much packed into a short movie that when you leave, you'll feel more proud of our American military veterans. A movie that was cast only with American military veterans will have you on the edge of your seat, cheering for our veterans and what makes America great. I've Got Your Six will be hitting the film festival scene soon. Be prepared to drop what you're doing and go see this powerful movie when it comes to your area. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Leo Effects. Now, today I am joined by a very special guest. It's been a long time in the works, so I'm certainly very happy that I'm finally able to speak with him. But please allow me to introduce to you Mr. Texas Cheney.
Woo-wee. How you doing, sir? It's good to be on the show.
It's good to have you here. That was an interesting little call you had there. Like, what was that all about?
Well, I've been a pro wrestler for, over 12 years now, and everybody's heard Ric Flair, go woo. And
Yeah.
Everybody's heard God bless his soul. Macho Man Randy Savage, always, he did, what was the thing he did? Ooh, yeah, he always did that.
Yeah.
Well, when I started wrestling, I was like, I got to have something like that too. I got to have me a little horn, and I remember, I always wanted to be original. I never wanted to take another man's deal. I think that's just poor taste. So I remember growing up as a kid, my Uncle Jim, he was a badass Marine, had a big old fella, always had a cigar in his mouth, and he'd always look at me, he'd call me Skanky because I was always dirty, and he'd go, woo-wee, little Skanky, you better clean up so we can go have dinner for Elba. He would always do that no matter what, but I can remember that particular statement. But he would always, he'd take his boots off and go in the house and, woo-wee, he'd always do that, So I took that from my Uncle Jim. I love you, Uncle Jim. He's still around. But that is original. I have to give him credit for it, that I took that little noise and I made it part of my wrestling career. And when I go to the shows or I do an interview, it's always woo.
That's
it's original,
awesome.
baby. Thank you.
That's great. What was it that made you want to be a wrestler in the first place?
Well, I've always been a big guy. I've always been entertained with sports of any kind, and I always loved the physical part of like boxing and wrestling. And I've done both. I just found that wrestling was my niche, and it was where I wanted to be. I could talk junk, I could still look good, and I could still be powerful. And my main goal in life is to entertain. I admire all of my fans, and they're the ones that give me the strength to perform for them. That's my job in life. I was born to entertain, and I love to make people happy, kids, and men and women of all ages. I like to give them what they want.
That's great. That's awesome. And it's all about the fans in the entertainment world.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've wrestled, 12 years. So I've been acting for about 6 years, and I'm starting to go out of the wrestling business. I'm getting ready to retire this year and go full force into acting, because I've got a couple of agents, manager, and a publicist. So I'm getting ready to get so busy, and at the same time I'm using my head instead of my body and not wrestling anymore.
There you go. What prompted you to retire out of wrestling?
My smarts. I'm getting older, and the old body just can't take it no more. You get older, you get subject to breaking, tearing, and damaging a lot more easier than when you're younger. And of course, at the same time, the flip side of that coin is you can't recovery is fast. So you do get hurt, even though it's fake. You do get hurt. I've been hurt even at a young age, and I just told myself I didn't really want to be an old man out there wrestling. I don't mind coming out, even 10 years from now if I got to do like a, promo. What that means is coming out talking, just running your mouth. But as far as physical wrestling every week, I can't do that anymore.
Gotcha.
As far as acting, I can I can work 6 months on the job and take a couple months off,
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So I heard a wrestling term a while back, and I haven't been able to speak to a wrestler to find out what it means. What does it mean to be a heel?
A what?
A heel.
A heel. A heel's the bad guy. Babyface is the good guy. Say, for example, pick a match that you've seen on TV. Just pick one, and I'll tell you who the heel and babyface.
Oh man, last time I saw wrestling was back with Triple H and oh my gosh, who it was the Michaels brother.
I'll give you an idea.
There.
Well, Triple H is he's going back and forth. The heel's the bad guy. The babyface is the good guy. Like, for example, John Cena. I know you know who that is.
Yep.
John Cena has always been the babyface, which is the good guy. A heel. Let's say, I'll tell you what, there was one heel that everybody loved like a babyface, and that was Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was always a heel, the bad guy, but everybody loved him,
Yeah,
but
that's true.
You got to have the good guy and the bad guy to create a story in the ring. So, for example, too, let's say the great Khali, Andre the Giant, heels. Now, like, for example, Ric Flair, he's been heel and babyface, more heel than anything. But you can go out there and sell yourself. But anyway, heel is the bad guy, to answer your question.
Okay, and what were you? Are you a heel or a babyface?
Mainly babyface. I like working heel. It's easy to make people hate you and to be a jerk, but it really takes a lot of work to make thousands of people, cheer for you and love you. And I've always liked that. And I've been heel a couple times, and I just told the promoters I just don't like being heel. I'd rather be the babyface.
Right on.
I love to be admired and loved by the fans and not booed and hated.
Okay. What's the craziest stunt you've ever had to pull off in a match?
The craziest thing that I had to do. I guess coming off the top of a cage match and falling back on the table. That'd probably be the craziest thing I've ever done. I'm a big guy usually don't high fly like that, but I always like to be different. I like to stuff different. So that would probably be the. That was tough. I had a big old whelp on my back for a long time. Probably a little scar left too.
Yeah.
That was about the craziest thing. Yeah, very dangerous. It is. It can be dangerous and it can be deadly.
Yeah, and I hear a lot of people talking about, like, that's always been the huge controversial deal, is people say, oh, well, wrestling's just fake, it's not real. But I mean, people can really get hurt doing that stuff, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's just like the movies. The movies are fake. It's choreographed. I've broke 6 ribs in all 4 quadrants of my body. So I broke
man.
2 in the front, 2 in the back, total of 6. Broke my fingers, busted my face 7,000 times. But the ribs is no joke. That hurts. I've had my stomach stapled back together. I mean, when you hit that ground, it hurts. It's real. You've got to be a conditioned athlete to be able to do it, or you'll be out there 30 seconds and you'll be throwing up, leaving and quitting. So it's not, a lot of people be like, oh, it's fake. Yeah, it's entertainment. It is fake. We're pretending to look like we're killing each other. But it is the number 1 selling show in the world, and history's never been able to match it. It sells out everywhere, every week for 20, 30 years, it brings in more and more people watch wrestling than NFL, the highest rated sports there is. It really is. That many people watch it.
That's crazy. I didn't realize it was such a big thing.
Yep.
Now, as far as your character, or do you have a character that you portray?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I do. My wrestling name is Truck, just like a truck. And my finish is truck stop at the top, coming off the top rope with a knee to the head. And my when I'm in the ring, it's truck 30. That's what time it is. I kind of stole that from beer 30. So there's all kinds of slang because you got to constantly cut promos and stuff, talk to the fans, hype them up, let them know about yourself, sell your character to them, let them know who you're looking at, let them know who that person is. So that is definitely my character. Is more of a kind of like a Stone Cold Steve Austin, a badass guy, all black. I wear nothing but black. I wear gladiator boots, tights. Sometimes I wear short cut off jeans like Stone Cold did. Not try to steal from him. Everything's different, but you can't say you're stealing a pair of shorts because everybody can wear them.
Right.
But yeah, I'm more of the badass biker guy that's called truck. And there's been many shows I've rode. I've been on a nice motorcycle. Even sometimes I bring my own if it's close to where I live. Sometimes my manager will call around trying to get a company to promote us a motorcycle for me to come in on. And I tell you what, when I come in on a motorcycle, those fans, man, they go crazy. When you come in. We ain't talking about no little sports car. I'm coming in there on a $100,000, 10-foot long, custom-made chopper. And it's fire, just breathing fire out of the pipes, and you're revving it up, and I'm coming out there all oiled up and pumped up and getting ready to entertain. People go crazy, man. I'm telling you, they love it.
I bet. Sounds pretty good.
It gives me the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it.
Well, we kind of discussed it a little bit earlier that you're retiring out of wrestling and heading into the acting world. Now, you said you were in something before?
Well, I've been acting, yes, for 6 years.
Yeah.
But I'm going full force and getting out of the because I can't obligate myself to both 100%, 50-50. So I'm getting ready to move the 50% of the wrestling out of my life, retire on that, go 100% into the movies.
Right on. That's cool. That's awesome. And you were in a film called Southern Iron, right?
Yes. Yes, that's Southern Iron. That was a Rude Gestures production. It's a company out of L.A. And I was actually a biker gang member there who went around collecting money and picking up drugs and killing people who didn't pay, or who stepped us, or who shorted us, and I ended up getting double dip, and I ended up getting executed and caught on fire.
Oh,
was halfway through the movie. Yeah, there's supposed to be another part of it coming back.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a sequel coming to it. But yeah, there was a lot of legalities with that film. It is always something when you feel like you're doing so good that something falls in there and makes it rotten. But somebody down the road swore they wrote it. Someone stole the script and all that shit. So that's where it stopped. So once they get the legal part, and everybody gets sued, and everybody's happy with it, they'll start another production if there's anybody left.
Oh my! Oh, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, it's domino effect, just like anything in the world.
Jeez. So, you've been doing this for a while now. Is there a particular movie that you would really like to be in?
Oh, yeah. Everyone asks me that. It's the same question. 007. I'd love to be James Bond. That's been my lifelong love. And then the next one in line, number 2, would be a superhero guy in Marvel, and Marvel can make me whatever they want. And then, of course, it trickles down to like Fast and Furious, The Predator, stuff like that. I'm working on some stuff with some soap operas, which is totally different, but I'll do anything. Being an actor, you don't pick what you want to do. You can choose what you like to do, and you can also have your goals set, like what I told you I'd like to do. But if someone told me I needed to play a older doctor with gray beard and in the general hospital, I'm not going to say that,
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. That makes total sense.
Yeah. That's what it's all about. You see, just like, say, for example, he was just in my hometown not long ago doing a film here. I can't believe I can think of God's name. He did the Gladiator, Russell Crowe. You see how good he looked in the Gladiator?
Yeah.
And now he's got some got some recent films where he purposely put on like 40 pounds, got a big belly, gray head, gray hair, being a father. And, I'm sure he'd rather be the gladiator, but he's an actor. He took other roles, like being an older looking guy. That's just part of acting. That's what you're supposed to do. You act in accordance with what the director wants you to do.
Yeah. And kind of going back to the wrestling part a little bit, because it also kind of goes to the acting part as well. Did you have a lot of support when you said, like, oh, I'm going to go be a wrestler?
Very few people.
Yeah.
A lot of people told me it was stupid and I was wasting my time. I needed to get a real job. And I did have my significant other was all behind me and my son. And they pushed me to Dad, or honey, or whatever it is. That's what you want to do it.
Well,
I
there
did
you
it.
go.
And I made it.
Yeah.
And
Look
just
at
like
where
I
you
tell-
made it.
Yeah, and I tell everybody, seek your dreams, do what's in your heart. Look in the mirror. Tell yourself, hey, I'm going to do this or I'm not going to do it. Pick yourself up and move forward. And my fans are my inspiration. And I give them what they want. And I admire my fans.
Yeah. And now moving into acting, do you have the same level of support, or do you have more support now because you made it successfully as a wrestler?
Yeah, you know that song the rapper sung back then. Let's see how's it go. Back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot and they all on me. Everybody sings that. But I'm not saying that's why everybody's doing it. But yes, I have a whole lot of support now because once I've got on that plateau, and wrestling got me on the plateau. Of course, I had more support, more fan base, and people more recognize me more. So yeah, I've got a lot of support in all kinds of levels of careers and people in different places, and by far, so much support. And I just, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate all my fans and the people that believe in me, and just they mean a lot to me. A lot of them don't even know how much.
That's fantastic. That's great to have that level of support.
Yeah, I'm blessed.
Yeah.
And I'm very humble. I'm very humble about it. I do not take it for granted. It could all be taken away. And so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What do you think a piece of advice would be that you would give somebody that's either entering into like the wrestling or the acting world?
The advice I would give them to start off with, if that's what you want to do, go for it. If it doesn't make you happy, don't do it. Don't go into anything for the money. Go into it because that's where your heart is. If you're good at it, the money will follow.
That's some great advice.
Thank you.
And so kind of talking a little bit more about you yourself, like what is it that between all of this, what is it that you do for fun? Like what are your hobbies?
Yeah, a lot of people ask me that. Well, I love working out. It's I guess it would be considered a hobby to some degree. Some people would see it that way, but I collect exotic cars. I love to get up on a Saturday morning and just get in it and ride the long way to the gym. Some of my cars, and I love to. I've got a big piece of property plantation on the river.
Oh, cool.
And not a therapy or not a hobby, but I consider it therapy. That can kind of be a hobby. I like getting out there and getting on my gator or my heavy equipment and, working in the yard, just picking up pine cones, making a big bonfire, mowing on my big tractor, pruning my apples, my pears, my blueberries. I've got a big orchard of pecans. Got a big tiki bar, pool, boat dock with a boat. And I go out there and I can't see anybody, leave the phone in the house. That is my hobby. It's a tranquility and it's therapeutic.
Yeah.
So that's my hobby, but it's not, like I said, so to say a hobby, but that is about the biggest hobby I got.
Gotcha. Yeah, that definitely sounds very tranquil and peaceful and like a much needed break.
Right?
And do you, talking about your acting career and the things that you want to do, we kind of talked about it before with what movies you'd want to be in, but is there a particular genre of movie that you would like to do above the others?
No, that 007, James Bond. That's the ones I told you in that order. The ones I'd like to do. But I'll do any kind of movie. You know,
That's fair.
I've done a lot of. I've done the James Cameron Bond movies, low budget stuff. You know, I was the monster, bad guy, pretty boy, badass guy. You know, just done so much. But I'm looking for. I've got some big stuff kicking right now. I can't talk about it, but
Oh, okay.
definitely people will definitely start seeing it.
Okay, but stuff is coming.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm working on things now.
That's
Yes, sir.
awesome. I can't wait to see more of that.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to being able to let everybody use it. So, yeah.
Cool. And kind of along the same question, but a little bit more geared towards your own likes and dislikes, I guess, would be who would you like to work with?
Um, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Vin Diesel, Dave Bautista, De Niro, Pacino, all those big guys.
Nice. That's awesome. And have you
Yeah.
considered, like, are you just focusing on acting right now, or have you kicked around the idea of possibly, doing the directing thing?
No directing, just acting. And I forgot another thing. I've got some modeling things that are happening for me right now too. Um,
Oh,
so that's in the works too, modeling
like
and
like
but
runway
yeah,
model or magazine model or
magazine.
okay. All right, well that's fair.
Right.
So, I guess kind of bringing things to a close here would be to ask, can you tell the listeners like your different social medias that they can go and follow along?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got Facebook, Instagram, but I can give you my website. The website has everything on it that the fans can reach out to me and see everything about the truck or Texas Cheney. That's the real name, but the website is www.texaschaney.com, and that's my real name, Texas, TexasCheney. So www.texaschaney.com, and you can actually just Google Texas Cheney. It's the only guy out there with that name. So everybody can find me there.
Nope,
I'm the
nope.
one and only.
There you go. Perfect.
My mother always told me, she always called me Little Tex because my dad was Big Tex.
Oh,
She
okay.
said, Little Tex, when the Lord made you, he broke the mold. And trust me, she used that as a little bit of sarcasm too, because I was being bad a little time or two as a kid.
Oh, as a kid, I'm sure it was just mischief.
Yeah.
Well,
But I was actually a good kid. My dad was a sheriff. My grandpa was a sheriff. And I was a good kid. I did drugs. Still don't do drugs. I was a good kid. I didn't care much for school. Didn't like it. Actually, I dropped out of school. But I was a successful man. You know, when I was young, I wanted to be a car dealer. I was the youngest car dealer in North Carolina. I was a licensed dealer. I had my own dealership.
wow.
And actually, that's when I sold that when I went to wrestling. That's why I wanted to be a free bird.
I see. That's cool. And as far as the wrestling and your website, are your matches up on the website?
I have. There's not a lot, just a couple things. There's so much out there. I used to post it all the time, and I stopped. But you could Google Texas Cheney and find a lot of stuff out there. There is another site out there called on YouTube. It's Truck 30. That's got some of my old stuff back in the day.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna have to go check that out, and
Uh,
the fans need to check that out too.
Yeah, on my website you'll see there's a couple of things with wrestling on it, but I'm trying to push that behind me. But I have got a lot of things in wrestling that I haven't posted. I had never just pushed it that hard as far as getting it out to the public. I've always lived a very private life, but not that I'm not out there. I'm out there, but I was just really private. I've always been very secure in my lifestyle.
Okay, cool. And once you start getting closer to getting the projects that you're working on out there, I definitely would have you back, and we can discuss them and
Anytime.
get that out there.
Absolutely. Anytime. I would love to be on your show. You seem to be a real nice guy, and I'm always here for you and the fans. And my heart goes out to everybody. I want to thank everybody for believing in me. It means a lot to me, more than people actually know.
That's awesome. And yeah, I just want to say thank you for coming on and talking to me. It's you sound like a very, very, very awesome guy. You're nice. You're cool.
Thank you.
Like, you're very busy. So I'm glad that I was able to get the time to speak with you.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure, sir. The pleasure's all mine.
Yeah.
And when we leave, I'll give out my little hoot and holler and I'll hang up. Is that fair enough?
That's fair enough. I just want to say
right,
thank you to you one more time, and thank you to the listeners. You guys have all been great, and thank you for keeping this thing going. Stay tuned for the next episode, and we'll see you next time.
Absolutely, it was a pleasure, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope everybody has a good one, and look out for Texas Cheney. Woo-wee.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, creatures of all ages, what an amazing show. Thank you for lending an ear and joining us. I'm the host, Ray Rumsey, and if you want to hear more interviews, simply head to anywhere podcasts are heard, Facebook or Twitter, and search The Leo Effects, with an A, not an E. If you'd like to hear me doing silly voices and making a general fool of myself, head over to Shattered Dungeons on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We live stream every Tuesday night. More projects are in the works. For now, stay tuned for more interviews. To book yourself as a guest, you can head to theleoeffects.wixsite.com/podcast or send me an email at theleoeffects@gmail.com. Remember, this has been The Leo Effects, and great shows require great listeners, just like you. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.